The overall picture of Indianapolis is always going to be a rental heavy cash flow market. Rents here are higher than they ever been. I mean, I know other places as well.
What's up? This is another episode of the Indy Investor. Brett Snodgrass here with Randy Placencia. What's up, Randy?
What's up, Brett? How you doing, man?
I'm doing great, man. I'm ready to dig in today's podcast topics. I'm going to grill you today about Indianapolis market, man. It's going to be awesome. So excited about this. Guys, we are back. Number one, we just had our very first episode. With the Indy Investor, we're back. We're going to be putting out regular episodes with the Indy Investor. If you guys are interested in hearing about a topic, please reach out to Brett at simplewholesaling.com or Randy at simplewholesaling.com. We are here to help you. We want to build relationships with you. So with that, today we're actually going to be focusing on what is going on here in Indianapolis. It's been a few months since we've really talked about this particular topic, and a lot has changed in the markets across the nation, whatever market you're in, but it's changed a little bit here in Indianapolis as well. But we got some great news, some great opportunities for you, and Randy's going to talk about that today. So Randy, you haven't talked about this topic a little bit, but today I just want to dig into the Indianapolis market in general. So we're coming into 2023. You on the Simple team are our dispositions manager. You're also our director of sales. So you're looking at all the deals. You're seeing what's going on. What is right now your general feel of the market in Indianapolis?
Yeah, so I used to love doing these episodes because it was always like good news, right? We did these episodes all the time a year ago, and it was like, hey, here's the market update. Everything's still selling. It's the best market ever. And it was kind of like a celebratory kind of episode. It's been a while since I've came on here and done this, but since probably since the last time, a lot's changed. So Indianapolis right now, we just came off of a really slow quarter. Now, statistically, for the people that like to look at the numbers, if you look back at the data, I mean, it was still technically a seller's market just because of like months of supply and things like that. But just overall, from what we were used to, home values, like it really kind of like the brakes were hit. I'm talking just like the last quarter up until, January. So right now, things are kind of, in my opinion, just leveled out throughout the whole city. There's not... You can still get, a lot of action from like a hot market perspective, like in the suburbs, kind of like the A markets, but like Marion County as a whole has really kind of slowed down. So where we're at right now, we're kind of back to, as far as like home prices in Indianapolis, we're kind of back to numbers that we were seeing in like late 2020. So like our average price per home now is around $216,000, which before like everything slowed down, before interest rates went up, we were up to like 260, I think.
Wow.
So it was a big dip just in a short period of time. But right now things are starting, in my opinion, to kind of, on the buy side at least, at the buyer side, if you're looking to purchase a home, things are kind of starting to pick up again. Interest rates, the big increase in rates kind of stopped. Everything's kind of been like, hey, you're either going to be somewhere between 6 and 7%, right? You can still find some programs where you can get a better rate, but it's been kind of accepted in the market, and buyers are moving forward. And I've seen some things pick up in the month of February as far as activity on homes for sale. I've even seen some instances where homes are still getting multiple offers, and it's just like, whoa, like I thought we were away from that. But that stuff's still happening. So right now we're in a weird spot where we're like in that gray area of, okay, it's not slow, it's not picking up, but people are seeing the future of, okay, well, this isn't too bad. So let's continue.
Yeah, definitely. Well, thanks for so much for sharing. And one thing that I've just had some conversations around, it seems like some of the larger institutional money has kind
Yeah.
of stopped buying, and that's affected some of the investors. But maybe
Hmm.
give some encouraging word to that, because I see some encouragement sometimes as a mom and pop investor being able to come in now. It's not as chaotic, so what I think, I just had this podcast with Eric Brewer. He talked about that sometimes as investors, we like things when it's a little calmer. Maybe, we could sell some things before in this chaotic selling frenzy market. But, things obviously are a little bit calmer now. So
Yeah.
what would you maybe just encourage some of the investors out there in this calming market with Indianapolis?
Yeah, that's a great question. And yeah, like you mentioned, a lot of the institutional buyers, the hedge funds, completely stopped buying. And I know there's probably just a couple left that are still making offers around Indianapolis, but for the majority, they stopped, and they'll come back when
Mm-hmm.
things get hot again, but it's going to be a while. What that means for people like like you said, the mom and pop flippers, they're actually able to have opportunities more than ever to get in and possibly grab a deal that they weren't necessarily able to get before because people were just getting simply bid out by people almost paying market value for homes. And right now, on like the seller side, with someone who has a home to sell to an investor, they are finally coming back to realization on where we actually are in the market.
Mm-hmm.
When things stopped appreciating and slowed down back in November, December, those sellers were still in the mindset that they were in the hot market. It had clearly been like 3 months, and it's
Mm-hmm.
the ship sailed, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
you weren't getting top dollar multiple offers, just ridiculous for your house anymore. But as always, they're the last ones to kind of see that because they're not in the day to day, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're just remembering that last headline they read in the summer where they said, "Oh my gosh, record home prices all across the nation," and their neighbors sold for like $50,000 over list price. That doesn't click until they actually want to go sell 5 months later, and people aren't banging at their door. People aren't paying over their list price. People are giving them offers that in their head seem low, but they're actually fair because they're market appropriate. So those sellers are finally coming around and realizing what kind of market we're in, and they're more open now to having conversations with investors like you and I, mom and pop shops about, numbers about selling their house that are realistic for everyone. So it's a
Mm-hmm.
win-win. It's
Mm-hmm.
not more of like the sellers holding something that you need, and then it's just like up to them to say yes or no. So that's kind of been the breath of fresh air. And as we go, it'll get better.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, those sellers are always the last ones to kind of realize what's going on, and now we're having real conversations, and it's helped out a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. That's awesome, man. What have you seen from just other investors? So you on our team, on the Simple team, are selling properties to other
Mhm.
investors. Um, you're having conversations with other investors, and I want you to be maybe just honest about like what are some of those conversations with other investors? What have you seen from other investors that are typically, some of our even top buyers?
Yeah.
What's some of the trends that you've seen in just within our business in those conversations?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I saw a big change, at least from my end, on just the normal people I was having constant activity with of buying properties. I've almost had to kind of revamp my pool of buyers who are kind of like my go-tos, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of people's strategies changed. So now, conversations I'm having with buyers I'm meeting that are still looking to buy multiple properties a month or even just one a month. Um, they're all either looking for they just are only looking at the cash flow game. I mean, the more multifamily units, the more units, the better. Single family kind of took a big pause, like the single family buy and hold investors that I was working with. Um, they were no longer interested in that anymore because, as rates go up, if you go to refi that property, like you almost couldn't cash flow anymore. So
Mm-hmm.
the more units, the better for them now. So I mean, duplexes and multifamily in Indianapolis have always been hot, but always weren't like the main product. It's always been the single family homes. Now, a lot more people from my conversations are looking for those multifamilies, or they've completely shifted to a different type of product.
Mm-hmm.
Self storage has taken a big kind of run over the past few months because of how low the overhead is, but how just stable, on a weekly or monthly basis that you're getting cash flow. So
Mm-hmm.
I would say cash flow is the main concern, and also people who are looking to flip homes are only wanting like some quick flips. I'm talking like under $40,000 worth of work, where they know that the numbers that they're looking at today are going to be there in 60 days when they go to sell, because no one knows where the market's going to go 6 months plus from now.
Mm-hmm.
But you can kind of foresee like the small window. So the flippers are looking for something that's not a lot of work. And I haven't heard too much from like new home builders, like those developer buyers. I really haven't heard much from them. So I know from like our point, like of looking at vacant land and stuff, we kind of just took a pause on that because I didn't really see any activity for that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But from a personal standpoint with me and the buyers that I work with, I've always prided myself on building relationships, and I feel like it's still like the relationships I've built 2 years ago are still there, and it's the reason why like I'm having these conversations to see what everyone's up to. On the flip side, I would just encourage anyone who maybe we've connected over a year ago and we haven't talked since. Like,
Mm-hmm.
go ahead, like shoot me a call, shoot me a text, shoot me an email. Is like get me up to speed on what you're up to, because the more I know, the more I can help.
Mm-hmm.
And that if anyone's ever worked with us before, everyone knows that we kind of we try to structure the deals that we get around the people that we're talking to.
Mm-hmm.
So if someone's talking to me like, hey Randy, I want some duplexes, like I'm going to my team and I'm saying, hey, let's pull all these duplex leads, and because I got a buyer right now and I want to give them a property. So um the buyers are shifting their strategy, which means we have to shift ours. And the more meaningful and deep conversations I have with buyers, the better I can be able to serve them. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, just I encourage anyone out there just to reach out to me and just give me an update on what you're doing and see how I can help out. So
No.
that's a little plug for me.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. I love it. I love it. What have you also seen with lenders? We've talked about lenders, and obviously the interest rates rising quite a bit
Yeah.
over the past several months, and that's had some buyers and some investors kind of get skittish. We've had some properties under contract with lenders. What's like your take on just traditional lenders right now? Maybe we can talk about traditional lenders, which we've had some things kind of go on with that. There's some hard money options that we'd love to maybe get a couple of them on this particular show. I think that'd be a great show because we've built some pretty strong relationships with some good investor hard money lenders. But what's your take just on lenders in general? People maybe that want to fix and flip, but what's been your feeling on just the traditional lenders? And then maybe talk about traditional lenders and then maybe some hard money go along that road too.
Yeah. So like if you're looking to fix and flip, what I've been noticing from the lender standpoint, I feel like it's been taking a little bit longer to get buyers through the process and get them fully approved for clear to close. So if you're fielding offers on properties, like I know it's always been kind of a rule of thumb to get the lender information and see how qualified they are, but really like have a conversation with, if you're working with an agent or if lenders information, to reach out and get a clear picture of what the expectations are if you are to work with their buyer. It's on the appraisal side. I've kind of seen some mixed things happen. I've seen appraisals just same old story, come in a little bit low, come in at price. But if you're selling a house that is kind of like as is, kind of like us, they're being a lot more selective and a little bit more picky on, getting that home approved. So we've seen like a lot of little things come back, like, hey, you got to fix some paint here and there, which like it's for a conventional loan, right? It was really like it's kind of like the safest one you can get. without having too many requirements from an appraisal
Mm-hmm.
standpoint to get approved. But they're coming back with some things that we didn't see before. So I would say that and just the time to close have been a little stretched out. Hard money wise, I'll be completely honest with you, Brett. Like I've been very selective on who I'm able to work with because
Mm-hmm.
of experiences of lenders not coming through.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it's that just goes back to the relationships that you build. If you've got a good relationship with a couple of hard money lenders and you get an offer from someone with a hard money lender that you've never worked with and they've never worked with as well, just from my experience, I've seen that deal kind of go south, or it's been taking like 60 days for them to
Mm-hmm.
close. Introduce them to this some connections that you have of people that you know are still doing business and closing deals in like 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's how a hard money lender should operate, in my opinion. Like it shouldn't be a 30+ day thing. It should only be a couple weeks max
Mm-hmm.
because it's like the closest thing to cash that you can get besides not being cash.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
um, but yeah, so that's kind of mixed as well. You know, there's still people doing a good job, but others are kind of dragging their feet and not getting buyers all the way through the pipeline.
Yeah, definitely. What would you say? Like Indianapolis has just always been known for just that cash flow market. We get a lot of out of state investors that come in from out west,
Mm-hmm.
and we just been kind of known for that. What would you say your take is on that right now with the given market? Is it still a really good play for the cash flow market here in Indianapolis, or yeah, is it not?
I think it is. There's going to be areas where you're not going to be able to cash flow as much as you probably could have, but the overall picture of Indianapolis is always going to be a rental heavy cash flow market. Rents here are higher than they ever been. I mean, I know other places as well. But I think the key is if you're going to kind of do that buy and hold properties as rentals, you're going to have to do probably a little bit, not better, but a little bit more work on getting that property renovated just to fetch that top end rent, because it's there if the property is nice enough. Section 8 still a good play here as well. So it would take a lot for me to finally say Indianapolis isn't a good rental or cash flow market. I still think it is. You just got to look at numbers a little bit better and um, yeah, just do a good job on some renovations so those properties will fetch top dollar.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, thanks for that. As we kind of just wrap up today's episode, just on the Indianapolis market in general. So we know that last quarter started to soften up. Coming into 2023, we're starting to see it calm down a little bit. We're starting to see investors picking back up the pace. What are you most excited about? I guess just kind of coming into 2023 with the Simple team or just in the Indianapolis market in general.
Yeah, I think I'm most excited just about the new opportunity that we're going to have. So I know with us as a team, we're kind of working on some new strategies on, how we're selling properties, how we're moving properties. So just in a shifting market, it allows us to look at different ways that we could sell properties. So I know, like, right. So for example, like we're getting some more experience on doing some seller financing things where we were able to sell these properties, but structure the deal on the back end as far as how we're buying it and what the property's like to be able to make it a good house for someone to buy it on seller financing from us.
Mm-hmm.
So we're playing around with that, but also as I mentioned before, I'm just connecting with new buyers that are maybe they've got a different strategy that they've had over the past couple of years. It's allowing us to explore different property types and just kind of get some fresh deals in the pipeline instead of just the same old stuff that we've been buying. I will say if anyone's looking to buy properties from us, um, we probably won't have those $250,000 properties anymore like we used to. Like we're getting really granular on what we're going after,
Mm-hmm.
and I think every investor is. It's not just us. It's every buyer, every other wholesaler who are actually taking down properties. You got to really be, you know, dead set on what you're going after and stick to it. And
Mm-hmm.
we're not in the market where you just shotgun deals, you use a shotgun approach and just, take everything that comes in.
Mm-hmm.
It's not gonna fit your funnel. If it doesn't fit through that last funnel, just don't worry about it. So
Yeah.
we're doing that and that's exciting.
Yeah. Yeah, I think one of the things is that again we're trying to think creatively, and Randy and I, we've talked about just some different creative strategies. So I'd say if you're listening to this, what are some of those creative strategies that you can do, and what are some different partnerships that you can still form? What are some of those relationships that you can form? One strategy that Randy and I have actually been talking about, and this might, this isn't a really plug like on our business, but one of the strategies that we do some of the seller financing. So again, we can help with that if that's a pain point for you in the financing arena. We can help you with the seller financing. But one strategy is, so my daughter, she's 16. We're getting ready to buy a car, and if you think about the car business, typically if you're going to buy a car, you might trade in your car, right? And then they have this trade-in value that they give, and that the trade-in value typically is not the retail value. They call it the trade-in value for a reason. And so one of the things we're kind of playing around with, that if you guys maybe don't have the cash, but you have a house and you can't sell the house, maybe, with the Simple team, we might have a certain program called the Simple Trade-In House program that, we actually can take a trade-in house as a down payment, just like they do in the car business. So think about
Yep.
Car Max or whatever. We're talking through that, which I think could be a really great strategy that has a lot of benefits on taxes and headaches and commissions, and end up saving a lot of money. You probably save a lot more money just by taking the trade-in value than you would if you went through the whole process of selling yourself. So anyways, that's just some creative strategies, and I want everyone out there to think creatively on like how can you still buy a house. Maybe you can't get the refinance with the bank that you used to, but maybe there's other ways that you can still get the money and cash flow and all that. So Randy, any
Yeah.
last comments before we wrap up the show today?
No, man, I think we kind of touched on it all. I'm excited for the year. I'm excited to see, what comes from all this. But yeah, if anyone wants to reach out, I'd love to have an introductory call if we haven't connected yet. If we've connected and it's been a while, reach out and let's reconnect and let's get back on board and see what we can do this year in 2023 and how I can help you hit your goals.
Sounds good. That's a wrap. If you guys have any questions or any comments, or you want to have any topics that you want us to talk about on the Indy Investor, reach out to Brett at simplewholesaling.com. Or if you want to talk to Randy, you can reach out to Randy at simplewholesaling.com. This is a wrap with the Indy Investor. See you guys next time.
See you guys.